Hey, it's Mike the Hammer Tackett here. And I want everybody to know, because I have a lot of fans who don't even know I have a new channel, second channel. So I'm going to be putting this video on my Weed and Freak and my Mike the Hammer page. If you like this video, I hope you do. And check out the other videos on my Mike the Hammer page. Check out the page. I'm going to put the link below in the description box. Sub it if you don't mind. I hope you do. I already got 139, 140 subscribers in just over a month. That's not bad. I got a lot of loyal followers. I'm also going to be putting up my Weed and Freak page for my Mike the Hammer fans. They're like, oh, you have another page? They're shell-shocked. Even though I put in my other channels, recommended channels, I put my Weed and Freak page there. Yes, I do. I have another 2 pages, Weed and Freak 976 and Mike the Hammer. I also have a Twitter and a Facebook page, so I will put links to all of them, and I hope you subscribe and friend. I hope you like what you see. Anyway, enough of the salesmanship. Now it's time to get down to business. This one is about Barack Obama, Martin Luther King. What should be an equal match is obviously Barack Obama down here, Martin Luther King up here. One of the things that the Tea Party was so scared about, a lot of their people, stupid signs like Obama equals white slavery. Now granted, in these economic times, nobody's doing really well. They're not. But which race has the highest unemployment? If you said African Americans, excuse me, you would be right. With almost an 18% unemployment rate, the African American unemployment rate in this country is still ridiculously high. Bill Clinton got it down to its lowest point. But then, of course, George W. had to get in there and start unraveling things. But you were supposed to be the guy. That's why we all voted for you in 2008. To get everybody lifted up. You know, whites, blacks, Latinos, Asians, Indians, all the races. We were supposed to all be lifted up because of your seemingly endless knowledge and intelligence and eloquence. Everybody thought you were going to be like Dr. King. Well, I all thought that. I thought, oh wow, it's Martin Luther King's son. Almost 3 years later, nothing, hardly. There have been some accomplishments, yes. But nothing, I mean, a healthcare reform that really should have been better. The DREAM Act failed. I know that was Harry Reid's pet project, but still. I mean, seriously, man, you can't even hold Dr. King's shoes. And that's sad. Dr. King right now is spinning in his grave. Because people like you don't remember what it was like. Everybody like, you're young, you don't know. No, but I don't know what the African Americans went through back then, I don't. But I've read history. And the history makes my blood boil. And I know it's one thing to read about it, it would have been another thing to experience it, which I don't get me wrong, I wouldn't like to have seen it at all. If you think I'm bad now, I probably would have been 3 times worse back then. People think I was a big freedom fighter now, and I'd have been 3 times worse. You talk about, Mr. President, how the struggle of the African Americans, but yet you have not done for them. Well, for the whole country you should, but but for them, which they are a part of this country, duh, you have not done for them what you should have. You have not fought the way you should have for people. You are not like Dr. King. I mean, think about this. When he was 6, Dr. King, best friend, told him, I can't play with you no more. You're black. Imagine how that, would just sink into a child, because the parents of the kid didn't want him to play with him because he was a different color. And he went up to Connecticut. This is what really sparked his interest in being a civil rights leader. He went up to Connecticut and he was shell-shocked when he saw blacks and whites drinking out of the same fountain. Blacks and whites sitting together, eating together, talking together. And no, race relations have never been perfect. They never have been. They never will be. But compared to what they were in the South, Dr. King was shell-shocked. Excuse me, shell-shocked. He couldn't believe what he saw. And maybe, Mr. President, you should have seen some of that. You should have been born 12 years earlier or something like that, to see your people not being able to eat at the same table as a white person. Just tell me that wouldn't have just boiled your blood. Please tell me that. Dr. King believed in nonviolence. He did. What we're asking for, Mr. President, is someone just stand up, not cave in. When John Boehner got mad because you scheduled your speech about jobs on the same day as the Republican primary, I laughed. I actually was like, oh boy, and then the second I say that, the next thing I turn around, he caves in. I'd have just been like, either, which is more important, the Republican debates or my job speech. And if you were really serious about standing up for the working class people, you would have had a single-payer health care option. The stimulus would have been different. It would have been a hell of a lot more spending on infrastructure and jobs and stuff instead of 30% tax breaks, which are just a joke. And you would make, when you give your job speech and everything, you would make the Republicans vote up and down in Congress, in the Senate. Take their names down and say, you know what? Here are the people that are voting for it. Here are the people voting against it. Show the American people. You should be fighting for the people, not just sitting back and kissing John Boehner's orange ass. Listen to this, Mr. President. I got this from Britannica. I'm not great at, memorizing long quotations and stuff. This is about Dr. King's his use of nonviolent protest. In Birmingham, Alabama, in the spring of 1963, King campaigned to end segregation at lunch counters, and in hiring practices drew nationwide attention when police turned dogs and fire hoses on the demonstrators. King was jailed along with a large number of supporters, including hundreds of school children. His supporters did not, however, include the black clergy of Birmingham. And was strongly opposed by some of the white clergy, who had issued a statement urging African Americans not to support the demonstrations. From the Birmingham jail, King wrote a letter, a letter of great eloquence, in which he spelled out his philosophy of nonviolence. You may ask, why direct action? Why sit-ins, marches, and so forth? Isn't negotiations a better path? You are quite right in calling for negotiations. Indeed, this is the very purpose of direct action. Nonviolent direct action seeks to create such a crisis and foster such tension that a community which has constantly refused to negotiate is forced to confront the issue. Dr. King was tough, but he didn't want to negotiate and stuff. Just like you. You should be tough. You should not accept any cuts on people's domestic spend or whatever. You know what I mean? But I know that's a different video. But still, the fact is, do you think Dr. King would approve of social programs being cut for anyone? Do you think he would approve of any child not being able to go to college, to afford an education, by all these Republicans wanting to cut education? Do you think he would approve? Do you think he would approve of an 18-19% unemployment rate for the African American community? Like I said, I don't want to hear it from the stupid idiots out there who are like, it's their fault, they're lazy. Bull crap. I know there are lazy bums in every freaking race. But to blame 19% unemployment, to say that it's largely African Americans, that is racist. You know what, Mr. President? You've been such a big disappointment. Dr. King is spinning in his grave. A lot of you don't know what you don't. A lot of you young African Americans don't realize what your parents and your grandparents fought for. You don't. And that's sad. And that's the end of the video.